Welcome to Uncomfortable Podcast. I'm your host, Lamar Voister.
I'm Lindsay.
I'm Mark.
Thank you for joining us. Let's combo.
All right, so I'm gonna start out light because Lamar has the more intense questions per the usual. But I wanted to ask you guys how you feel about New Year's resolutions and how yours is going so far, because we are 4 days in. Have you failed yet?
So for context sake, my New Year's resolution, I kind of mentioned this before, but I'm still on the process of trying to find a job currently. So I mean, right now it's like a gig, so obviously it's a good start, and it's making me a lot of connections, which is always great, So hopefully I could get like a job that will give me, like a stable income, like not obviously not too crazy amounts of money. Like obviously that'll come eventually, hopefully it will come. But right now, like a stable income, I think I'm doing okay in my job searching. It's been a little tricky at times because the job search, I mean, I feel like a lot of people this day, like the job searching is just way too hard with all the AI and then all that stuff. It's just, yeah, no, it's a tough time through having right now. So hopefully that will change in some way. But I don't know. I think I'm getting my New Year's resolution down a little bit more, and I feel like I have a few more, but that's just like the basics of what I have so far. So yeah,
That's reasonable.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, I don't care about people's resolutions. I don't want to hear their New Year resolutions because I feel like that should be private. Just do it.
Why does that have to be private?
Because
If somebody asks, you can say this.
Because people be like, my New Year resolution is this, and they don't do it, or like you said, they fail. Like the first question was,
you can still talk about it. Why are you so evil? Oh,
I don't want to hear people do that.
Oh well, you can leave.
but did I fail mine? No, I didn't even start mine yet.
Do you have one?
Yes, I want to work out. I want to exercise. Yeah.
Okay.
Working out is great. All right, I try my best to work out like mostly every day. I mean, walking to the city from Penn Station to here is a workout in and of itself. So I do that pretty much, and then in my apartment I have a gym, so I just run on the treadmill. That's perfect for me, and I love running. It's great. But yeah, that's I like that.
I do also believe in making changes when you can, but I do feel like sometimes just you start to take inventory at the end of the year. I think that's just something that people do. And you're like, wow, like, how did my year go? You can say it went well, it did this, and then you start to realize patterns, and then you're like, well, you know what, tomorrow or next week is a new year. You can start fresh. It's kind of like when you say, I'm gonna stop eating this, but then some people do it the next day, and some people do it on Sunday, and that's totally fine. I feel like as long as you're bettering yourself, whenever you start is when you start. Like, just don't say no. But I also don't believe in you saying, never mind, I'm not gonna do it because you didn't do it well the first day. That we should always we should be forever evolving. And if you failed on it January 2nd, you can start up again January 3rd. It's not that deep.
Absolutely.
So my resolution is to just focus on the things that matter most to me, and just stop trying to take on everybody else's crap. Like something, I get very passionate about the people that I care about. And sometimes when they make crazy decisions or decisions that I know in my heart of hearts isn't the best one, I get really like consumed. And I'm just trying to be better at like, just let them rock and be there for them in whatever capacity you can after it doesn't work out, but it's stressing me out and your friend shouldn't stress you out. So I think I need to set a boundary in my head and be like, this is their problem, it's not yours. And so what, they're going to come back and say, damn, you were right. You can either choose to be like, I'm not listening, or you can be there. But I think that's something that I can definitely work on because I got my own problems. So that's that. All right.
Are there people that y'all don't want to speak to no more from 2024?
No, I'm good on. For years, I haven't had anybody I've needed to cut off. So that's it. How about you?
Yes. New Year's Eve, right? I was on the boat, right? And like I was drunk, and I started texting people. So I texted at different people, Happy New Year, stuff like that. So one of the people I texted was a girl I was kind of sort of messing with, but after a while, she's like, ghost me. Like I'd be like, hey, let's meet up Tuesday. Okay, Tuesday will come. Oh, I can't make it. I gotta do something for my mother, and that happened like about 10 times. Right? So I just left her alone. So New Year's, she wanna talk and call and this and that. So I just left her on red and then it's my phone, and I don't plan on ever talking to her ever again. I felt like I won because she was calling me.
And that's that immature shit that I was talking about with you, where I'm just like, why are you like this? Like, you had to get her to respond so you could ignore her. In the new year, I'm going to work on your maturity level. How about that? And the pettiness.
That's a revolution?
Yes, that should be your resolution because it never ends well. It doesn't end well.
I got you.
Okay. All right. Now, were you about to say something?
No, I don't think so. No.
No? Okay.
No, I'm good. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yes. Now, do you want to do your...
Okay. Let's talk about Joe Buttons. Let's do some entertainment. Joe Buttons. Do you believe he was sleepwalking?
I mean, I don't know. Like, I just quickly read the article. I'm like, was like that's got to be like a drunk thing to do, right? Just like, like because I don't know how somebody could just like be the way he was. He was like, you know what I mean.
Wasted.
Obviously, we wasted and all that stuff. Like, and no clothes. Like I don't know. I feel like he had to do something beforehand. I don't know. Just maybe he wanted attention. I don't know. Like attention. I don't know.
Like Joe Budden seemed like he usually have everything together. Like he seemed like
No,
very.
he doesn't.
Now he seemed like a very established,
No.
but put together guy.
No, and the fact that you see that says a lot. Joe Budden has a lot of problems.
I know that. I know he got issues like
Yeah,
anger problems, stuff like that.
Yeah, he also doesn't know how to temper his anger. He also doesn't know how to. So how does that see? How does he establish?
I say that. I say that because he had a conversation with Diddy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I gotta find the episode.
He Diddy? Yeah. Oh, okay.
And Diddy told him not to put his hands on people, right?
This wasn't recent though.
I guess it's past, okay. And but then he seen the video came out with Cassie. Mm-hmm. He was like, now you see Diddy doing exactly what he told him not to do, stuff like that. So I'm saying like he should have more sense not to do like that. So when I seen it, I'm like, yo, did he have like the girl set him up? Like, well, come over. Like, if he got there, like, gotcha. Like, you know what I'm saying?
How do you set somebody up to sleepwalk?
Nah, I'm talking about if he was sleepwalking. I'm saying like maybe she's like, yo, come over. My husband's not home. So he on some freaky stuff. He took all his clothes off and went to go. And she's like, gotcha. I'm like, you gonna take? You know?
Was he outside?
He's outside.
So how can you set someone up and take your clothes up and walk outside?
I'm saying like, now say you supposed to text me and call me, right? Yes. Like, yo, come over. My husband's not home, right?
Okay. And
I'm like, okay. And I'll do something freaky like take all my clothes off.
That was your choice.
Yes. I'm saying the choice of him taking his clothes off. Yes. Oh. I'm saying, but like maybe like he was going there to see somebody because he's at the door ringing the bell.
Why does that matter? If he was outside, see how this automatically ended up a female issue?
I'm not saying it's a female issue.
Maybe. Why did your mind go to that? Is the question?
Because like
if someone said, "No, you're trying to see did a girl set him up?" Negro, if you're outside naked, I don't care who set you up, unless she stripped him and put him outside like a trafficking victim.
Like,
that's weird. I don't know.
Because you look at the dark side of stuff.
Nah, because I'm just looking like I just don't see Joe Buttons doing this out of the blue.
Because you know him.
No. Oh. It just seems like a well put together guy.
Why? Why does the nutcase seem like a well put together guy?
The way he talk and the way he carry himself.
So because he's able to speak English, he must have it together.
You gonna do this the whole time?
It's been a while.
What do you think, Mark?
I mean, the way it kind of sounds like it does ring to me like, I don't know, maybe he was drugged in some way. I don't know. Like maybe he was on something when that happened. I don't know, because it doesn't sound like, because I don't know. Because if what you're saying is true, that I've never listened to a podcast from him, if he is like well spoken or whatever, like I don't know. Just I don't know his home life. I don't know what happened like in his past.
He's a hot ass.
Oh, is he really? Is he that bad? Okay.
He's articulate.
Gotcha. Okay. So, I mean, it's possible he maybe got intoxicated or something happened. I don't know. I don't know how you can just go outside. And this happened in the cold, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, that's insane. I don't know how you could do that. But yeah, I don't know. I'm leaning towards intoxication is probably the reason. Either he got drunk or someone like tipped him or like put something in his drink. I don't know. That just sounds like intoxication to me. I don't know.
I don't know if sleepwalking is something that people could like learn or affect them later on in their life. But if it's a history of him having sleepwalking problems, then okay, he got a case. He could prove it. Yeah,
So this is like only like one time that he said, yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
it's the bullshit. It's
Yeah.
bullshit. Like,
I think he was probably drunk. And he's pretty arrogant and just likes to push the envelope sometimes. So knowing that about him, he might have just been like, it mixed with alcohol or drugs or both. He was just like, screw it, y'all just about to see my body. And he went outside in the cold and did that. But I don't think it was sleepwalking.
Yeah, I don't think it's sleepwalking. And I want to know why he's at the neighbor house. Like, was he trying to go in the house? Like, he was called to the house. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, why he's at the house, you know?
Sometimes when you're drunk and on drugs, you go to the wrong door. Yeah, too.
That's true too.
I've done that sober. I'm just like, when the elevator was off on the wrong floor, I'm just like, it was mad different. I'm like, but yet the same because it's still the building, and so that's happened. So I don't know, but I had clothes on, so that helps. But yeah, okay, all right. So that's Joe Budden. Hopefully he figures that out.
Yeah,
hopefully. I don't know what's really happening on the news. I mean, I feel like the thing that was really asking me right now is the woman who was caught on fire at the subway, but that happened like a while back. I guess, I mean, so I guess maybe I take the subway, right? Sometimes I take the subway, but like I always try to like want to walk in the city a little bit more, and like either side, it's bad, like because crazies exist in this world. Like I don't know, would you rather take the subway or would you rather like want to walk to like wherever you need to go in the city? Because I feel like they both have their benefits, but I think they also have their huge cons. So I don't know. What would you guys say? That's true.
I have a license, but I don't drive.
That's fair.
So I don't. It's one of those things, and obviously you can speak to it. One of those things where it's like when that's your option, and you're just used to being in the city. Because I'm from Philly, and mind you, even though it's not New York City, it's still an urban environment, and still the same stuff going on. And I'm just like, I don't think about it. Of course, being on the train, I'm like, I hope I'm safe. It's not a conscious thought every day. It's just a general, survival. But honestly, I feel a way when I go outside, period. Like to me, outside of the house is where you're suddenly unsafe. But that being said, I feel like you just go about your business and hope. I do feel like if it's your day to go, it's your day to go. It's gonna happen in the house. It's gonna happen at the beach. It's gonna happen in a spot. It's gonna happen on the subway. So, like I said, I just don't really think about it. But it does suck and it's very scary. And there are, like I have, as I've gotten older, like when I was, 19, 20, 21, I used to work at a bar in the city and I would leave at 2 a.m., walk across town in Manhattan and then take the train home. No big deal. Now I wouldn't be as inclined to do that, but I think that just comes with age. Sometimes you're just a little bit like, I don't know if I want to do that anymore. If I had to, I would. But yeah, anyway, to answer your question, I think it doesn't really matter.
That's fair.
But
yeah,
you need to be more as aware as possible. Excuse me, and just not saying that you are, but just don't be stupid.
Yeah, absolutely. Be cautious of wherever you go. I think the reason why I don't take the subway as much is because first of all, I don't want to spend too much money just going in and out. Because I mean, it's like $2.90. I mean, it's not terrible.
I was here when it was $2.25, so I'm mad.
It's not like it's not like a terrible price, but like if you like go in and out like all the time for like work, it could get a little costly. I don't know. So that's like the main reason I didn't want to go. But the fire incident, that's kind of another push as to why I don't really want to do. Lamar, what about you? If you like, would you rather like walk in the city to like wherever you need to go, or would you rather take the subway?
I'd rather walk.
That's fair. Yeah,
I'd rather walk.
I would do the same. Yeah. So
I'm the only gangster out here. No, all right. Okay. So you want to go next?
Yes. Do you think the sea is the abyss in myth and legends?
The what?
The abyss. You know, they say the abyss, the darkness, and all that.
Do we think it's what?
The
abyss.
Okay.
Do y'all feel like this abyss because like there's different things like if you think of the Bible, a lot of stuff in the Bible like demons come out to sea. Like especially like a Book of Revelation, a lot of demons come out to sea, and then you got let's say you got demons that come out to sea, then you got you see when you kill with people like when people unalive somebody, they always put them by the water for some reason. Let me see, psychics. When psychics, when people go to psychics because their kids are missing or something like that, they always say they always buy a body of water. So what's up with water and like the supernatural?
Well, I mean, in a lot of depictions of like demons, like they are from hell, and a lot of hell is basically like, I mean, you see it all in the cartoons, and you see it all in like everything. Like it's always like fire, and it's just all that kind of stuff. So I think that's where the water stigma comes in, where you throw the holy water onto the spirit, and it disintegrates or whatever, and it becomes like the Wicked Witch of the West or something. But like, I don't know, like that. I think that's one of the things where I don't know. It's an interesting idea, and like I said, I don't really. I'm not really a religious person, so I don't really believe in demons or angels, really. But I get where that stigma kind of comes from, where we use water to take out our demons. And in terms of like the abyss, where it's like it's complete darkness, I mean, it could be darkness. I don't know. I've never been to hell, so I couldn't tell you. But I mean, I mean, I guess maybe, but like if it's like fire, then I'm thinking maybe there's a little bit of light. I don't know. That's just me. I've never really known. So
Nah, some things in the ocean look crazy. They look like demons.
oh, they
Like,
do. They do though.
you know?
They do. I mean, the anglerfish is crazy. And then there's also like the oh my god, what's the name of that one shark that looks like the goblin shark?
Oh, okay.
It literally looks like the alien mouth from the like it has the mouth and like the alien comes out. I don't know. It's weird.
Say, what the fuck is that?
True. Yeah. Very true.
We're ugly. We're ugly species to a lot of.
That's very true.
I would say I think that idea of the abyss and the unknown comes from the fact that most of it's literally most of the ocean we have not actually been able to discover or get to.
Absolutely.
So what do you do when you haven't seen a space and you can't speak on it? You're like, oh, the unknown, the this, the that, the dark hole, the dark portal. The reality is it's just a bunch of nature. And the things down there, they may communicate and be like, I wonder what's up there. It's just our stinky asses, you know? So it's just, I think that's where it comes from. And as far as putting bodies over there, I think it's because they assume that the water will consume it and then you won't be able to prove that there was what they always say, if there's no crime, there's no body. So I think I don't think the water is a way to do that. But not that I'm well versed in killing. I just watch a lot of television and people always turn up. But that being said, I think that's where it comes from. And we just kind of perpetuate it with like movies and shows. But yeah, it's because we don't know what the heck is going on over there. Like the simple fact that we will actually never know exactly what happened with that submersive last year, or 2 years ago at this point. You remember the submersive that went into the ocean, like they were trying to find the Titanic, and then we never found it.
Yes.
Yeah. And yeah, that being said, it's just it's unknown. I think we should leave it the hell alone. And just like those things down there, we're unknown to them, and they should leave us the hell alone. Everybody's where they're supposed to be.
Yeah,
the Martians, the humans, and the goblet sharks, and all the things that we've never heard of.
Yeah, the fear of the unknown. If we don't want to even like see what it is, then we should just walk the hell away.
Well, the issue is that people do want to see what it is. And I think they should mind their damn business because everything is where it's supposed to be. Sorry. Because everybody wants to, like, not everybody, but, you know, scientists and curious people, they're like, well, we got to see what's underneath the ocean floor. Why would we need to do that?
Yeah.
What do we need down there? What do we need? More resources because we're screwing these up? Like, are you just curious because you just want to poke things? Like, leave it alone. And then they'll be all upset when we all die because they unleashed something that wasn't supposed to be up there. I'm just saying, whatever. Don't come find me. So you want me to?
Go ahead. You got the next one?
All right. Where are you? Oh. So we must discuss Beyonce's halftime performance. I haven't seen you guys. And did you watch it?
No. I heard about it though.
What did
halftime performance?
The halftime performance?
Yes. The Christmas Day.
Who did it?
Beyonce.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen it, but I love Beyonce. Okay, she's great.
You should watch it. You have Netflix?
I have Netflix. Yes,
You gotta watch it. It's the Beyonce Bowl. All right, it's
Beyonce Bowl.
wonderful. Did you like her last album, Cowboy Carter?
I did like that one. I liked a lot of her songs. That she's been glowing up as of lately, right? She went into that country phase, and that song, Texas Hold'em, that song is banger. Love it.
Oh, you're all right with me. I thought it was great. There were a lot of haters. And here's the thing. All right, truth be told, am I a beehiver? Yes. But I'm a normal one. As in, like, do I love every single thing she does? No. Like, there are definitely, in every album, there's maybe one or two songs where I'm just like, I'm okay. Like, you know, but I think what my thing about people who actively hate her is, I'm like, what exactly do you hate? Because you cannot like the music. That's totally fine. You have to love, that's subjective, right? But my issue is, like, you have to acknowledge her hard work. You have to acknowledge the people that she brings together. You have to acknowledge all of those things. The way that she's grown throughout the years, when we thought she couldn't go any further, the records that she's broken. I just feel like when you make a point to hate someone and then you're like, oh, well, because I don't like their music, it's just like, you don't have to like the music. Like,
Yeah.
Plenty of artists whose voices and or music I don't love, but I can acknowledge that they're talented and that they do those things. That doesn't mean I have to like it. You can be subjective and say, no, they're a solid artist.
Absolutely.
I'm just not buying an album or paying for a concert. Totally fine. So I think I just hated that. But overall, I did love the performance, not just because I love her, but just everything that she always puts into the effort that she and her team put into the messaging, the imaging, and the music mixes, and just, I don't know, I just loved it. So that was that.
Yeah, Beyonce is great. I love Beyonce. I mean, I think the way you were saying, like, a little bit too, it's kind of the same way. I don't really. I feel like I'm gonna get roasted for saying this. I'm not a huge fan of Mariah Carey.
Okay.
Because I feel like you know the whole thing of, like, you know, when you hear Mariah Carey, you know the Christmas song, and it's like, it's just, oh my God, I don't care.
So, okay.
But, like,
so is it the Christmas Mariah? Because I didn't grow up with the Christmas Mariah. I grew up with Mariah. Like, she became the queen of Christmas later on.
Yeah.
I think she had a Christmas album come out in like the 90s or 2000s, and we liked it.
Yeah,
but
90s.
It was the 90s. We liked it, but it wasn't. It didn't embody Christmas at the time, and now it's just like you can't go anywhere between Thanksgiving and Christmas without hearing it. So anyway, to ask the actual question, did you hear Mariah before she was the queen of Christmas?
I love Emotions. That song is great. That's like my favorite song from her. Which, yeah, I mean, I like I like her songs. I'm not a huge fan of her. So, like, people say she can hit a high note. Well, so can Ariana Grande. But, you know, like, I don't know.
80%, like, there are a handful of artists who can hit those types of notes, and nobody else can do that.
It is very great that she can.
Yeah, but I get you though, and see how I'm not trying to force you to like her.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah.
Knowledge of talent.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear every damn holiday.
Yeah, we all have our tastes. Yeah, it's totally fine.
She's not gonna say she can't sing. She's disgusting. She can't even hold a note. You're like,
she can't dance though.
No, this is true. Yeah. It does frustrate me though, and I get that that's what, like, artist development and what people like. So their teams say they should do this, but Ariana Grande, not a dancer. When they used to try to make her dance to her pop music, I'm like, stop making her do that. It does not work. Mariah doesn't dance. Whitney Houston didn't dance. Like, some of the best singers don't dance, and that's okay.
Right, J. Blige can't dance.
No, it's like, stop trying to make them do that. I understand. Like, let them be them. Some people are just meant to be there and sing. Celine Dion, nobody ever asked her to move to do a dance routine.
Yeah, she's still in the same spot.
Yeah, and I love her standing in that spot. Adele, whoever asked Adele to dance, thank God she doesn't.
She's skinny now. You never know. She might start twerking.
Nah, she won't. I promise you, she won't. That's not even her thing. And I respect it, because I'm just like, I don't want to. Just let people do what they're good at and leave it. It's like when they try to make Beyonce act. That is my girl. I love that woman with everything in me, but I do not need to ever see her in another movie. I mean, I won't go see it if it's out. But I'm just saying, I sit there and I'm just like. So yeah. All right, next.
Do y'all feel the entertainment industry has a hidden purpose?
A hidden purpose?
Real quick. what are you getting at? Because with him, you gotta ask exactly what he's getting at. So what are we getting at? Like, what hidden purpose?
Nah, like, is it like a cult owning itself? Like, if it's like a secret site owning itself, not talking about people being Freemasons, Illuminati, and all that. It's about itself in general. Is it like is it a cult? Do y'all feel like it's a cult? Because it's a lot of secrets in that industry. And even when people come out, like even at Diddy right now, people still not trying to talk about Diddy. Like, like I think it's a cult.
I mean, it really, I think it's just, if when you go into Hollywood, I feel like there's just so much stuff that's happening right now. I mean, you guys probably heard about all the stuff that's been happening with Nickelodeon and Dan Schneider and everything. Yeah, the Quiet on Set. Yeah, I need to watch it. But everything that's been going on, and about Jeanette McCurdy. She just did her book, Why I'm Glad My Mom Died. That was insane. So yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff that happens, and I think it's because Hollywood, they have like their own image of how they want to see people. There's a reason why they always cast like Dwayne The Rock Johnson in like all the action roles, because the guy looks the part. Like, he looks like the action hero, and it's like so tired and moot at this point, and it's like there's other actors you can pick, right? So I don't know. I feel like Hollywood. And then there's also the factor of they use AI now, and AI is just, God, we're going into a bad time, because here's the thing: I am fine with AI if it's used sparingly. If it's used sparingly and but if it's like the basis of your movie, then it sucks. And I'm sorry. And I think what AI can do is like, if you have an idea that you don't really know what to do, you can use AI to like help you formulate ideas. That's how I think is a great way to use AI. But if you use it like a lot in your stuff, then it's like, no, exactly waste your talent. You're wasting talents of yourself. You're wasting talents of all the other people that put their blood, sweat, and tears for like however long the movie industry was going for. Like, no, like, they need to pretty much like understand, like, the movie industry is just like, it's an art form for a reason, and a lot of Hollywood people are just not really, they don't see that. All they see is the green paper. All they see is the green paper. That's it. Yeah.
I'm talking about more as in, that's cool what you're saying. Like, I don't got no problem with that, but I'm talking about more as in, like, conspiracy wise. Like, for example, you mentioned Nickelodeon. If you notice Nickelodeon and Disney shows, they always got the angry black woman in it, no matter what it is. Like,
Nickelodeon and Disney.
Like, that's like, for example, I don't know about now. I don't watch TV now, but like Drake and Josh, always angry black woman. iCarly, angry black woman. Like, then you got characters. Then you got the angry black trope that they put on characters, like Sam from iCarly. Like, she like fried chicken. She violent. She's loud.
I think so. This is loaded. So, all right, if you don't mind.
That's fair. Yeah, no worries.
All right. So, the first question was, do we think it's a cult?
Yeah, like a cult. Yeah. Like,
can I add a question?
Yeah. Huh?
Yeah.
You can ask the questions.
So why do you all think that it took so long for people to come out? Do you feel like somebody gave the people in Hollywood permission, like with what's his name, to put in Huxtable?
Cosby.
Yeah.
To put like, I couldn't think of it. You feel like they gave people permission to come out about him, about R. Kelly, about Diddy? Like, why is it that it builds up like that? And especially with black men, do you think black men can really get that powerful in Hollywood to where nobody says anything? Or do you feel like there's an entity that gave everybody permission to come out at the last time?
I guess I'll go first. So basically, to answer your question, there is that conspiracy. Like, use Diddy for example. They say Diddy sued the liquor company that made the Ciroc and all that. So they sued him, and he won like $1 billion, a little over $1 billion. And as soon as he did that, that's when Cassie came out and did what she did. And now it's all going on with him. Yeah, he's buying CBS.
So this is what I will say. So I'll tackle yours first, since it's more recent. I feel like something that we need to do as a I don't know if it's a community or a culture, but either way, maybe as a culture, we need to acknowledge that there are terrible people. And in order to be in these positions of power, you need to do some dirty shit. You just do. That is exactly why certain people make it. You have to be cutthroat. You have to be willing to sell your mom. You got to be willing to drop your friends. And then on top of that, let's just say you weren't like that when you got there. That type of industry and being required to consistently deliver and having all the power and having all these people, like people who look like feet in the face, all of a sudden have everybody falling at their feet. Men want to be their friends. Women want to sleep with them. And you get a big head and you do some really grimy stuff. There's poor people that beat their women. So who's to think that this powerful man who can cover it up wouldn't do the exact same thing? So I think sometimes that's just what we say or do. When someone that is a staple in the Black community is doing well, we're just like, they've done so well. And, you know, it must be because he was doing this. Now, he could have been doing those things. That's totally valid. But sometimes two things can be true at once. He could have been doing that and also his shit came out. And sometimes when you're about to make this crazy elevation or this crazy evolution, the people who you did dirty just like, nah, see, that's it, I'm done, I'm speaking because I refuse to let this happen. I let him rock and do all these things for all these years, and now I'm about to say something. And sometimes it also just takes a while to muster up that type of courage. There's people in relationships right now, men and women, because I'll acknowledge that men get abused as well, where they're too afraid to leave. And it takes years and years of therapy to actually say, no, I'm willing to speak to my attacker. I'm willing to speak to that person. So I think, to answer your question, I do think that sometimes it really is just the fact that people are shitty and people have the power and money to be as shitty as possible. And some of the richest, most powerful people are in Hollywood and in music. So there's that. As far as your original question, which was, do I think it's a cult? I think in any industry, there's gatekeepers. I think in medical, there's going to be some stuff you don't know about pharmacy that we'll never know. If you're in the police force, there's going to be stuff that we'll never know. So I think the same thing with Hollywood, but because there's so much money in it and it's so much like the forbidden group that we just talked about, the abyss, the unknown. Hollywood is very unknown. There's literal contracts involved, so that way you will never know. Cease and desist, you know. So that being said, I don't think NDAs. I think it's truly just, thank you. That's more so what I meant. So I don't think it's a cult. I think it's an industry, and that's what industries do. They protect their own. There's stuff that we will still never know about. Things that we, like the police department, we feel like things are coming out now, but there's still stuff that we have never uncovered and probably never will. The army, all those things. So that being said, I don't think it's a cult. I think it's simply an industry with a lot of power and money, and people don't speak on those things because it's their livelihood. I don't care if you work at Walmart. The reality is, if that's your livelihood and that's what you need, you're going to shut the hell up. Yeah, Mr. Walmart grabs my ass every day, but at the end of the day, I need this job to feed my kids. So that's my stance on the question.
Okay. Mark, you want to go?
I agree with everything you said about the thing with the industry and all that stuff. But I'm and then I guess I don't know who asked the question, but about the whole thing with the people covering up stuff. It is definitely possible because even like you see like a lot in like YouTube channels too. You see like one side of a person. Have you heard of this YouTuber named Nikocado Avocado?
No.
Okay. To TLDR, he's basically a mukbanger, which means he eats a lot of food. And basically he got to the point where he got so famous because he was eating a lot that he became like morbidly obese, right? And then literally like his recent thing was that he came out with like a video where it's like he lost all of his weight. So
did he do it with a girl as well?
He did it with that was one of his controversies where it's like he was really bad with another person. I forget her name.
Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. Okay, I just remember a girl with dark hair. Okay, never mind.
I don't remember. But anyways, like he came out with a video like he was like slim and all that stuff, like, and he's like, so I am the villain, right? Because I made myself one because of the videos he kept making, and they were all for like clickbait. And I think that's kind of like a practice that a lot of people do, and I feel like it's kind of a similar way that Hollywood they accentuate on like the the handsome people. There's literally stories where it's like Hollywood literally forces people to literally like get into shape, or in some cases use steroids just to like get to the fit person, because that's what apparently people want to see.
Right.
So, you know, I think it's really just more about like publicity in a sense for me. And I don't know, that's just kind of my stance on how the way it looks like that. I don't know. It's not a good stance by any means necessary. It's really bad, and it's really, but I feel like that's the best way to describe it for me. So that's my stance.
At the end of the day, whatever makes money is what's going to work.
Yeah.
Like this is a capitalistic country, honestly, world. So that being said, if it's going to make money, that's what's going to happen.
Mhm.
And also to add to that, because I have this debate like more often than you would expect, actually, when people are just like, hey, the music industry specifically puts out certain things because they want us to hear certain things. And I always push back on that, because something that the powers that be will never do is spend money on something that is not making them money.
Mhm.
So I feel like something that, and I'll speak on my community because I've never been any other race. And something we say is they want us to listen to this rap. They want us to hear about bitches and hoes and drugs and alcohol. And I'm just like, but you're buying it.
Yeah.
They're not going to put it out there if you're not buying it. If we all said we're not going to buy this, we're only listening to J. Cole, we're only listening to, you know, like conscious rappers, they'd be like, okay, well, we need 5 more J. Coles tomorrow. But instead we want to listen to the bull crap. And then we say the industry wants us to hear them. It's just like, it's a revolving door. If you stop buying, like people don't realize that we run the industry. We give these unknowns this power to say that this is what they're inflicting on us. And the reality is we have a choice in it. It's just none of us have come together, enough of us haven't come together to say, we're not doing this anymore. So I think, so that's just wanted to add that extra part on there.
That's a very good point. I will say that. Yeah.
She had the guy who created the Beehive talking, and they had initially created some other group for followers of Beyonce, but it wasn't picking up. And then they saw this Beehive thing. Now these people already had their rituals and their crazy stuff and whatever else it is that they be doing. Yeah. But he was like, wow, this is a large following and it's moving already. So it's like the people gave them direction, but then they hired the guy to amplify what the people were already doing. So the creator of so I just want to make sure. So he created the Beehive, like the name? Is what you're saying? No. So the Beehive already existed, and he was on Beyonce's team, but they had a separate group for anybody that was a follower of Beyonce, but it wasn't picking up. So even though separate group of fans, it was like a name for her followers. Oh, okay. Yeah. So they had a separate group that was a name for her followers, and when it wasn't picking up, they were like, okay, well, this Beehive thing over here in, I'm gonna just say Ohio, but it was small. It looks like it can do something. So he took that direction and then went with that in order to secure the checkmate, if you will. So I like what you're saying, and I think that we give people a lot of power, but I also think that the industry kind of takes on whatever direction we're already going in and then purposes it against us. Oh, for sure. Absolutely. And I think that's a good point. And I think that's just life in general, right? Like anybody can say, oh, this person likes cake. Well, let me make them more cake. And then then I can use cake to control you. Like, so no, I think that's a totally valid point. But it then also still goes back to, but we have more of a choice than we think we do. And I think it's just very frustrating when I think it kind of takes some of the, not trying to be controversial, but at the end of the day, religion is a thing because human beings that existed millions of years before us needed to make sense of the world. It was Greek mythology, and we said there's Zeus up there and he's running shit, and then there's Persephone and all these things that made it make sense. And then Greek mythology evolved to this thing. We have anyway, my point is we try to make sense of things. And I think this is an example of that, where it's just like, well, why is the industry so bad? And it's just like, well, it must be because those people are doing it. And it's just like, actually, you play a bigger role in that than you think. And I think the second we start taking a little bit more responsibility, not all of it, because there's still, again, the powers that be still rule a lot that we can't fix. Like I can't tomorrow, maybe. Anyway, focusing.
we have more of a more, if we have more drive and more community, I think we could get a lot done.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with everything you're saying, but it's not impossible, but people are not going to do that. Like look at the presidency, for example. Jeff Bezos, he told the the Washington Post not to publish anything, like take a side. I think they was gonna take the side of Kamala, and he's like, nah, don't do that. They stay neutral and stuff like that because you own it. And as soon as he said that, everybody they canceled their subscriptions to the Washington Post instead of canceling the Amazon. But people not gonna cancel the Amazon because Amazon is too important to people's lives. Everyday lives now. Stupid. You know, Washington Post, who cares? Who even reads the Washington Post now? Like, or read newspapers nowadays. So that was stupid. They should have just canceled the Amazons and stuff like that.
Yeah, but like you said, we kind of need Amazon. Well, we don't need it. We were doing fine before, but we also need it. Like I don't know how else to say it. But you know what? The reality is with change comes sacrifice. And I feel like our ancestors knew that, you know, when, you know, down south when they were boycotting buses, all the Black people did not get on buses. They walked their asses to work in the scorching heat to make a point. And we are not gonna, and I'm not just talking about Black people, that was just an example, but like at this point, the world is so, everybody's like, I gotta get mine and I gotta make sure I'm good mentality. And people are like, no, I mean, even if people try to protest for a job, there's gonna be that one person that shows up. And because they're probably thinking, if I'm the one that shows up, that means I'm gonna be promoted and I'm gonna be good and everybody else is gonna be jobless. And I'm like, see, we can't even get out of that mentality because there's just so much lack of trust and no community anymore. And this is the whole country. I can't speak to anybody else's country, but I've only ever been American, and that's how we function. And at that, like you said, it's not impossible, but it's impossible. It's not going to happen. We're too divided. So you just got to do what you can do. And yeah.
Do you feel like some people are just sheep and they kind of need to be told what to do?
Yes. We had the conversation before, me and her. That's why she loves the eyes. We had that conversation before. I believe people are just sheep.
Well, okay. Can I ask you exactly what you mean by sheep?
I think to an extent we're all impressionable, but there are some people that are extremely impressionable, and it's what makes them easy to work with.
Okay.
It's what makes them agreeable. Like for instance, anybody running a company, you want the people that are going to do what you say when you say. So you don't want the people that are going to go on strike and stay outside after you threaten them with 50 million things. But again, you get that one person, and it's really not even one. It'll be several people that show up. Like for instance, Lyft did a blackout day.
Okay.
But there were still people who went out and they were like, yeah, I'm about to get all this money for a day. Bruh. For a day, you got $200 extra for a week, but we trying to secure something for forever.
Yeah.
And I think that it's because there are those people who their mentality is always going to be, someone has to tell me what to do or what to think in order for me to go in any direction. And someone has to lead that. Someone has to manage that.
Yeah. I think, so I'm gonna say two things. I personally feel that we're all sheep in some way, because there's always something that we're all just gonna go along with because whatever your situation is, right?
Whatever power
you Yeah, exactly. So there's that. I also feel that I think the more so the issue is that people are very short-sighted. I would say before you have followers, you have people, because it doesn't matter if you're a follower or not, if the people who you're following aren't as short-sighted, or I think everybody just wants that immediate gratification and they want it, like you said, like a day. We're trying to make this work for until you quit the job or until you retire, and you're like, well, today is what matters. I think the issue is that we just don't know how to sit and be like, all right, what makes the most sense? And I see it in everyday life, right? Like I'm at a stage right now where a lot of us, like I'm 30, and a lot of us, my peers, we're like, okay, so we went to school, we got the degrees. Now we're just kind of like, what do I do with myself in a sense? Like, do I actually like this career? Do I want to stay in it? Do I start a family? Do I not? And I feel like, not my friends in particular in what I'm about to say, but then I noticed, on social media, people trying to feel more fulfilled. I noticed this when I hit 25, people started getting married. I'm like, okay, that's fairly normal around this age. People started having kids. People started going back to school for degrees that they now admit they really didn't need. I think they just felt so lost in the moment. And instead of sitting and thinking like, what long term, what is this thing that I'm about to do going to result in? But they wanted that immediate gratification of, okay, I feel like I'm doing something. And sometimes thinking about it and trying to figure things out takes time. Sometimes it is monotonous, it is depressing, and it is exhausting and very lonely. But in the long run, you're like, you know, I'm so glad I waited. I'm so glad I didn't rush to get married and have a kid or buy a house. But I was trying to figure things out, because now I figure these things out and all these things are inconvenient for me.
Absolutely.
So that being said, I think the same thing with with what you just mentioned. Everything is so short-sighted, and it's like, well, I need the money today. But you're not thinking about when that money dries up, because now they think we're pussy. You know, they think we're over here playing games because of your ass. Now everybody's screwed, and it's just like, oh, you know, I didn't think about that. Well, at least I got my money. And it's just like, yeah, but now you need to find a new job, and now you're gonna be screwed for the foreseeable future because we tried to unionize and you just could not follow suit. So I think that was a very long-winded way of answering your question, I hope. Okay. How about you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely do agree with that whole thing. I mean, at some point, I mean, we're gonna have to at some point, you know, it's like we're told, we're taught at like a young age to pretty much like follow the rules and like all that stuff. But it's like at some point there needs to be like, I think you can follow rules, but there needs to be like a sort of balance between like the worker and like the boss, whoever's up there. If the boss is like absolutely like awful and just abuses you, like not like emotionally or physically, like then by all means do whatever it is in your power to stand up to that, because no, that's awful, and you should not be able to suffer through that because of some other person. That should not be the main thing. Now, like I said, if the boss is great, then you know following the rules would be like a little bit more in that sense.
Let's just say that's your only source of income, and you have now.
That's a tricky case. I guess it like I said, it has its benefits, but it also has its cons. But I feel like you gotta take care of, like, you have to understand like yourself. If you have like a good workspace, like if your coworkers are like if you like your coworkers, or if they feel the same thing as well, then at least you have like an outlet. I don't, because like if what you're saying is that is a definite thing that can happen in the workforce, it can be very difficult to leave. So I don't know. It's a very tricky thing, but I think it's, if you have a good outlook, and if you have friends with coworkers, if you have family you can go to and just hash it out, it can make it like a little less bad.
Yeah,
for me.
I don't disagree with you. But I think what was obvious while you were speaking, what popped up in my head when you were speaking was the fact that this world is going to always have the haves and the have-nots.
Yeah.
That is just what it's going to be.
Absolutely.
And, you know, let's just say it is the example of someone needing a job, and you let that boss treat you like shit because that's your only source of income. And, you know, let's just say you don't have the resources to go to another job or whatever it is. All that does is reinforce bad behavior by your boss, but you don't really have many other options.
Yeah.
You know? It's not as easy as it maybe once was to get a job. You know, oh, I'll just go over to this company. That's not how this works anymore. Like even with the degrees and experience necessary, it takes 9 months to a year to find a job at this point. So, you know, that being said, I'm just like, I think, and this may be very defeating and like deflating to people, but I'm like, it is what it is. Like,
it is what it is.
You just got to do what you have to do. Like you said, maybe like figure out your options and hope for the best. But there's always going to be a bunch of bodies on the bottom. No matter whether you identify as a sheep or a wolf or whatever it is, we're all sheep, we're all wolves in some way, shape, or form. We're all screwed.
I totally agree. I like how you said that we all got to follow the lead by somebody. We all, like, even Jay-Z got a boss.
Right, for sure.
So I totally agree with that. All right.
That was very to y'all with the questions. That was good.
All right. So my last question I have is very controversial. It's about Equatorial Guinea. That's what I guess what it's called. So basically, it's a guy. He's a minister. I guess like a politician type minister, not a church minister. And his father, like, it's like the head of like a department out there, right? So his name is Baltasar I'm not gonna say his whole name because he's like 4 or 5 names. His name's Baltasar, and they call him Bello for short, right? So he takes himself having intercourse with over 400 women, right? And these women are like the president's wife, the director's wives, basically everybody in high officials. They wives, and one of them was his uncle pregnant wife. You know, you can find these tapes online too. They all online, like most of them, like probably like 20 of them. So my thing is, I was watching TikTok the other day, and they said that Equatorial Guinea want him to take an STD test because they felt like since he was doing it unprotected with all these women, that I guess somebody probably got something. Somebody probably got something. I know a couple people unalive themselves. I got those videos too. Like people unalive themselves, and then people at the family, at the friend group and stuff like that over it because of the controversy. So my thing is, I think somebody probably has something, and now they're like, "Yo, you have to get it from this dude. Like, let's test him," you know, and get everybody else tested too because it is Africa too. Like, you know, so.
What does that do with you?
It's saying it's like Africa, Brazil at the highest HIV rates. So that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
You talk about the
No. I'm not so bad about it. I'm gonna say like they got a high HIV rate and AID rate. Probably higher because Jada Kiss went to Africa once. It was like a country that I never really heard of. It's like a funny name, crazy name. And he went to do a show, and only people that don't have it are the royal family. But everybody, all the citizens, they all got it. You know, so that's what I'm saying. It's very, very high.
How do you feel about them getting tested?
Yeah, I think they should get tested. They should have been got tested.
Yeah, I do believe in testing after every partner personally.
Yeah, I heard you could do every 2 weeks now, right? I heard you could do every 2 weeks now.
Oh, you heard I do.
I heard people could get it tested every 2 weeks. Like,
right, if your insurance covers it, I think you absolutely should, unless you just haven't done anything. Like you just wait for resources. But yeah, that's their business. I believe in using protection.
Yeah, it's a Caucasian lady out here in America, and she recently slept with 101 men in one night. And so she went on a podcast, and the dude was talking to her. He's like, "What if you get STD? Like, what if you get this?" She's like, it's medicine now, this and that." He's like, "But you'll be okay with it?" She's like, "No, I wouldn't be okay with it, but that's what comes with what I'm doing out here." And like,
if you find out you had AIDS,
there's no more I can
do. What would you do if you find out you had AIDS?
You can take like blockers and things like that.
No, but what would you do if you found out you had AIDS tomorrow? Because one of them condoms bust, yeah? Because you're thinking, oh yeah, risk and reward. But what would you do, yeah?
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah?
Yeah.
If tomorrow, because you get tested every 2 weeks, yeah?
Yeah.
Tomorrow they phone you and they said, "Oh, Lily, we need you to come in." Yeah? You've got woo. How would you feel about life?
You can go and take medication.
Oh, so you'd be cool with that, having AIDS?
No, but it's the consequences of my own action.
I saw something that was also controversial on social media, and you ever hear someone say a thing and you're like, you're so wrong and really right, and I don't really know where to. All right, well, you'll get in a second. This woman, she was HIV positive, and she said, "It is not my job to tell you that I have HIV." And I was like, "Oh, this is gonna go down the wrong lane." I was like, "I don't know." But I listened. I was like, "Let her finish her statement." And she basically said, "I tell people who I have." She's like, I don't have to tell everyone that interacts with me that I have it." I was like, "That's fair. That is your personal medical business." Then she said, "If I've known you for a period of time and we are at a stage where we're about to do that, I will tell you." She said, "But the problem is she said that she pretty much put it back on the person sleeping with her, back on the man. She said, if you barely know me, why are you having unprotected sex with me? That's on you." And I was like, and she kind of got a point. So why would you trust me, a basically not a real stranger, but basically a stranger? You don't know my last name. You don't know my birthday. You don't know any of the deepest parts of me, and you want to have unprotected sex with me. She's kind of like, you get what you get. And I was like, you're not wrong. So it was very interesting. How do y'all feel about that?
I grew up with my family was a scammer. My family was scammers back in the day. So it was a big scammer, like bigger than my family, like, and she had a worker. The cousin, she was cousins to my neighbors. Okay, that's how I knew the girl. She was cousins to my neighbors, right? She had that, right? And she said she giving it to anybody that wanted. So anybody asked this girl for sex, she was giving it to them.
Mm-hmm.
No ifs, ands, and buts. Like, well, let's go. She's going, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she said because somebody gave it to her, she giving it to them.
Okay.
You know?
Mhm.
And I'm like, and that's basically what you're saying right there. Just to mommy
Yeah,
of that.
no,
You know?
that to intention. I believe that's against the law to do intentionally infect people with HIV. So that's already a problem. But the reason why I gave this, I let this woman finish speaking in her reels because she didn't say I was intentionally doing it. She's like that. You gotta own it. You are responsible for your health.
Mhm.
That's it. And we all make mistakes, you know. And here in the moment, you're like, screw it, we don't need a condom. But there's consequences to every action that you have, and sometimes it really might be that. I don't know how far she goes. You know, I don't know if she's just like I don't know if she's intentionally trying to do it or not. I'm just going off the information that she said. But based off what she said, she's valid. Like you don't. That is a very personal thing to tell people, even though it's not a death sentence anymore. It is definitely something that people. It's still a stigma attached to it. So just because we're talking. And then also people are still extremely ignorant about the virus. So it's like, so I tell you I have HIV and now you're gonna go tell everybody not to shake my hand. Yeah. So I'm like, no, I wouldn't be telling everybody that information either. But it is up to you to protect yourself. Yeah, it dies on air contact. The cells die.
She saying people that she knew or people that she was sleeping with.
Which
she
part?
Doesn't need to tell people that she's sleeping with, or she doesn't need to tell people.
That's a good question. Don't quote me, but the impression I got was that she was talking about people that she sleeps with that she is not actually like closer to like one night stands, like somebody that she doesn't have an extensive relationship with.
So that's
illegal. To not to, you don't have to.
Yeah,
I don't think you have to.
You have to disclose to everybody you had sex with.
Is that the act? Because you know how sometimes we hear laws and it's just like, oh, but there was a caveat to that. Is that the law? You have to tell anyone you're sleeping with. That's I mean, the exact, I would say, like, I've heard the same thing, but you know, there's a lot of things that we just take as common understanding. And it's like, oh, but that wasn't the actual law. So definitely look that up because I thought the law was to purposely infect people with it. That was like, that's against the law because there are people there was a man, I believe years ago that went to purposely infect women with HIV. He broke the law. I don't know if me having protected sex with you and not telling you that I have HIV is against the law. Does that make sense? So yes, but Google can prove that. Yeah, every state got their own laws, federal and state laws. So you never know. It might be a law in Florida, but not, New York might have a totally different law towards that. The United States fun. Yeah. All right. So I think that's all my questions. We talk about, Baltasar, his crazy self. They made a dance of him too. You know that, right? A dance. Yeah, because when he had sex with these women, he played with his nipples. Like he play. Oh God. Right. So they got on TikTok. They got dance trends. They just dance and they play with they don't really play with their nipples, but they go like this. It's just funny. It's very, very funny.
Oh my God.
How is it?
Nah, it's funny.
How do people even come up with those type of dances? I've no
They need
idea.
jobs.
They need jobs. Yeah.
They don't have enough struggle in their life.
Yeah.
Oh man. Nah, he the man. But Baltasar the man though. He the man though. That nigga King Solomon right now.
I don't know. All right. So do you feel that you can bounce back from cheating in a relationship?
I think like cheating is a very bad thing, and it's like it's a very bad thing, and it's like you really it sucks that you have to go through all of that stuff if you did have like a cheater. But like I feel like it's just all about the conversation, and it's all about the way you talk to your person. If you had a very good relationship beforehand, and it's like I don't know, it's so tricky because obviously if you're in a relationship that you weren't really the best in, then it's like, well, okay, cheating, I could kind of see why they would, but doesn't make it good by any means. But I mean, I feel like you can bounce back from like a cheater and still do it if they if you like I said, hash it out, understand each other's like point of view, and see if you can find like a common ground, or like maybe you could try to get over it. Sometimes it's like it doesn't work out, and a lot of times that's how it goes. But that's the way I kind of see it. Is just it's all about the conversation. If you can if you did the thing and what you did was wrong, and you can just hash it out and like try not to do that again, then I think that you could definitely bounce back. But obviously, people can be like very ignorant. Sometimes they can like just go back to doing the same thing the other day. So it really just depends. You have to like be very, I don't know. It's just something interesting that I always think. But I think communication and also like a sense of self-awareness, that's what I think is the key to bouncing back from cheating. So that's just my opinion though. So
What's the question? No, I heard the question, but what's the question? I want to make sure I answer it
Can you bounce
correct.
back from cheating?
No, no. I think once you cheat, it's over. Like the person always going to cheat. That's just from my experience. You know, yeah, because I can't really see people like, okay, I cheated this time, I'm never going to do it again. Like it's already in their system.
You've
like
done that too.
I have cheated, but like I don't cheat no more. But
But
I'm the
according
exception.
to
I'm
what you
the
just said,
but
you
I'm the
always cheat.
yes. I probably would cheat again
Oh,
if it's
okay.
a
So you
situation.
don't not cheat anymore,
No,
you're
say
just a cheater.
I don't cheat no more. I haven't cheated on a person. I've been in a relationship in a long time. Okay, I'm just saying like it's possible for me to cheat. Like I'm not saying I
Possible for
wouldn't.
anybody to cheat.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. Like is it right time, right moment, right person? Yes, I can see myself doing it, but it's not my intention of doing it. But a lot of people cheat all the time. Like I know I slept with females that cheated on every boyfriend they ever had. You know, every person they ever had, I slept with them at one point in the time. So yes, I think people are going to cheat regardless, and always going to cheat. You can't go back for it. You know? Only way you can come back for it if you get a whole new relationship and don't do it ever at all. So you cheat on this person, break up, find somebody else, and don't do it again. And I think that's the only way.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You know.
Well,
wow. You think you really think you could come back from it?
yeah, I think you can. I mean, I'm not saying I would. I'm just saying it's possible.
So you would take somebody back? See.
Well, it's not. So here's the thing. It's not about. Sometimes it's just getting. Sometimes they could like. Okay, we can't tell the future, right? But let's just say I could tell the future somehow and know that person would never cheat again. Maybe I would break up with them just because I'm still pissed at it about it. Like they'll never do it again, but I can't get past that because whatever. So I think that's the thing. I feel like best case scenario for me, and this is best. You cheat, you get one more chance. I don't believe in 2 chances. I don't believe in 3 times a charm. I don't know, because something that my mom raised me. She said, I take it with a grain of salt because I don't totally believe this, but she said, if you forgive a guy for cheating, he basically feels like, well, now she knows. And I'm like, I don't think that's necessarily the case, but I got the concept behind it. And the concept is, he's like, okay, well, I might try this again. And depending on how you got past it, he might be like, well, I'll just do the same thing again and we should be okay. I think that's people in general, we push the envelope to see how far we can get before somebody cuts them off. I mean, people do it with their family all the time. Let me go rob grandma one more time and see if she actually kicks me out the family. And the reality is she won't. And that's why we keep doing it. So yeah, I do feel you can bounce back from cheating, but like you were saying, I do think it's circumstantial. If you are a cheater, then no, because you're just gonna keep doing that. If this was a one-time slip up, we were in a bad space, maybe some couples therapy will help it out and we'll be good again. Yeah. Okay, cool. Maybe it was a situation where, or maybe I can't forgive you because I have my own insecurities. Totally fine. There's a lot of cheating is like relationships are so complex, and cheating can be actually more complex than people acknowledge. I think it's just up to you. And you're saying like, am I going to tolerate this again? Like if this person cheats again, will I feel like a complete idiot? And then if that's how you feel you're going to be, then I feel like just call it quits and end it now before you get too much more involved.
What you think is worse, the cheating or the red flags?
What do you mean?
Like for example, like what cheating is. So red flags as in like you see that stuff that's funny, like maybe she's staying out late or often. Maybe she's on her phone a lot more. Maybe how Mark always say her phone down, on screen down. She's doing stuff that we didn't do before, and you just watching, you seeing the stuff, and you're like, you're not catching on, but you catching on. And that's when you find out she cheated on you.
Maybe I think the red flags could potentially be, I feel like the red flags is a slow burn. I feel like the red flags is like, it's what's leading up to the real pain, which is the cheating. That's what I'm thinking. So it's like, like they're both painful. It's just one is like very subtle and you don't really notice it at first until it eventually comes into a big powder keg where cheating is really the biggest like problem. So yeah, no, I get you.
So I think like theoretically, it depends on two things. One, what is holding you together? Like, what was the purpose of you all coming together in the first place? And do you plan on still accomplishing that purpose in the future? Like, how tied are you to that purpose? Whatever the reason is, or whatever that third thing is in your relationship that has you sticking together, do you plan on continuing towards that together? And then the second part is, like, how repentant is the cheater? And when I say repentant, I mean, like, have you, pretty much what Mark said, did you acknowledge, like, I'm wrong, and now I plan to turn from this. I plan to not do this again. Is that your position? And I say theoretically because personally, I became abstinent in like 2014. So even before that, I want to say I was like 23. Even before that, I didn't have like long-term relationships, and I had no purpose in the relationships.
Okay.
I was like, you know, you can't be a hoe, so you gotta stick with somebody. But I also don't want you over my house all the time. So like I need to be able to get, you know, where I'm going, and then we can just disperse and come back together. So at the point that I became abstinent, that's when I kind of was like, okay, is there purpose to relationships? And what is the purpose? And so I'm thinking in terms of marriage, even whatever we're getting together for, are we going to accomplish that goal? And how tied are we to that goal and to whatever purpose our marriage serves or our union serves? And if you cheated, how repentant are you? But again, emotions, who knows? Like when you get into the mix of that, who knows what you're doing?
Right. No, totally agree.
I agree.
People get into relationships and marriages for the complete wrong reason. You should, and here's the thing, like I am pretty liberal in the sense where I'm just like, and also I'm just not naive to the fact that there's a lot of ways that relationships can go. And it's none of my business unless I'm in it, right? But there are some relationships where people do not live in the same house. That works for you, that works for you. There's a relationship, there's open marriages. There are marriages where they go do whatever it is that they do, but it's understood. I think the basis of a relationship should be that trust. And it shouldn't be cheating. Like, and of course we're human, I get it. I'm not saying, you know, once you do that, damn you to hell. I'm just saying that if you feel like you want to step out, ideally, like you said, theoretically, hey, you know, I'm having these feelings and I kind of want to, you know, I want to see with somebody else. And I'm not sure if it's because our relationship is failing or because I'm just bored. I'm not sure what it is. But, you know, in theory, that's what you should be doing. But anyway, that being said, people, I'm sorry, it's in my head, I'm trying to articulate it. Basically what I'm getting at is people do what they need to do in their relationships. Like you said, the common goal could be, we just want to have a big home, you know, something for our kids to inherit, and we want to have healthy children. If that's what you need in the marriage, and you don't care who he or she is sleeping with outside of it, then fine. If your goal is to have companionship and that person is going to stick with you to the day you die, then that is the purpose, and that is your purpose. I think things get icky when one person has a purpose or an intention or belief for marriage. Like some guys believe that marriage should be so that way I have this one woman to take care of me. And if you're getting with a woman who's just like, nah, Neva, we take care of each other, we're equals in this, then that ain't gonna work for you. And that's when it becomes a problem. You need to be on the same page.
That the relationship is over, but they don't split. Like Will and Jada, right? They live in two separate wings of the house. Because of what? They had an open relationship because of what? I would think that their stuff is a little too tied up. Everybody wants Jay-Z and Beyonce to separate, but their money is a little too tied up at this point.
And the image, and my mom always said, like she said, if Jay-Z and Beyonce don't work out, we will never know. And I'm like, that is so valid. I totally agree. And it is what it is. Like, that's when I say, ain't none of my business. That's rich people business. And I don't know anything about it. But, you know, it just, I think that being more open and understanding, and I'm not saying I'm the most understanding person in the world, but I try to be fair in the sense where people's feelings, people's lives, people's everything is very complex. And if it works for you, it works for you. The cheating thing is an issue because it obviously doesn't work for one of the people in the relationship. But if y'all decide, you know, let's just be open, then cool. Like great marriage. I don't care what you do, but it also I ain't married too, so it matter.
Yeah, I don't know the lady name from Moesha, the mother from Moesha.
Yeah.
Her husband, they live separately. He live in like I forgot where he live at, but she live in LA.
Okay.
And they've been married for like probably 40 years, and they haven't lived together in like 20, 30 years.
Yes, I forgot her name.
Yeah.
Something Lee Ralph. Cheryl Lee Ralph.
Cheryl Lee Ralph, yeah.
Yeah. They seem happy. Okay. It works for if it works for you. You like it, I love it.
Yeah, I think he a lawyer or something.
Okay, a lawyer, yeah. But yeah, so I just think that it's really easy to, not saying that any of us were doing that, but I think it's really easy to judge other people's situations because it's like, oh, well, I wouldn't do it. And the reality is, well, maybe you wouldn't, but maybe they wouldn't do what you're doing. And if it works, it works. If everybody's in a healthy mental space and you're raising normal children without trauma, I have no issue with what the heck you're doing. I have an issue with people who have these crazy ass households and then they unleash a bunch of serial killers and nutcases on the world because they had an unsafe childhood and now they're just crazy behind humans. That's my problem. But whatever, that's another subject. That was today's episode of Uncomfortable Truths Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Lindsay.
I'm Mark.
I'm Lamar Oyster.
And we'll see you next time.
Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.